Howdy guys, my name is Rennie and I'm roughly 8 feet and a wall away from a bathtub. I have a robot Spock sheet shirt on. Or can't represent. Getting a chair now. Alright, so I've decided to make my first vlog ever today, and I'm challenging myself to do the entire thing in one take. It is likely to be more of a challenge if ever making myself edit it too, but I haven't quite learned to do that very well yet. So if you stick with me long enough, you might see that happen. I'm going to tell you guys a story. Camera thing's messing up. Let me fix that. Alrighty, here we go. Are you ready? Can't hear you. Gotta get used to that. Feel discouraged now. What, you could be louder. I could hear you somehow from here. Whatever. Alright, so, earlier this summer, it was my friend's birthday. Some days before, I'd planned this elaborate kidnapping and party, and of course, when the day came, it didn't quite go as planned. It went well. I'm not saying that it went badly. My friends and I drove and crept up to her house and sang at her and threw a blanket over her head when she opened the door and carried her out to one of the cars and almost left her shoes behind. That went rather close to how I'd planned it. We then had to improvise the next location, though, as my plan hadn't extended all that much further. Moving on. After grabbing frozen yogurt, which is delicious to all the losers who disagree, we went to my house and continued to party in the basement. Well, once half the group was gone and the remaining half grew restless just sitting on top of each other on the carpet, we went outside. Now, there's a lake in my neighborhood, so we walked out and sat on the pier and had movie moments staring up the sky and chatting, or, well, we tried to have movie moments. On our way back, though, one of my friends put her finger to her ear. Another friend saw and did the same, and so did another. I think she convinced another to do it, but I don't really remember. And then there was just me and a boy left, without our fingers to our ear, and we weren't really sure what was going on. Now, my friends with their fingers in their ears, they tried to start insisting that we do it too, one of them going so far as to berate us for, in a mist of confusion, refusing. After a while, they just shrugged it off, still holding onto their ears, and we kept walking. Well, when we neared my house, they attacked me and the boy, screaming, "Get down, Mr. President," and tried to knock us both to the ground. Yeah. Well, in the game, Get Down, Mr. President, yeah, it's a game. One person puts a finger to their ear in a big group of people, like a Secret Service agent would, and as the rest of the group notices, they do the same. When there's one person left without their finger to their ear, everyone screams, "Get down, Mr. President," and tackles them, on pavement, gravel, anything. They're usually injuries. Yeah, that's my story. It has a point, though. Kinda. Have you guys ever lied out in the grass and just stared up at the stars? I have a bunch of times. And that evening on the pier took me back to nights sitting in trees as a little kid, staring up and getting lost in the infinity of space, and the understanding that there are things so much bigger and so much more profound and important than you are. Are y'all familiar with this term, star tripping? Most people aren't, not in the least. Basically, you go outside with other kids, or, yeah, don't take adults with you. Don't think it's weird. You go outside when it gets dark enough for you to see the stars. One of you has to have something that'll light up really, really quickly in his hand. One or two of you stick your fingers in the air and point at a star and stare at that star. And you spin around as fast as you can. You spin, still looking up, 10 or more times. More tends to get pretty dangerous. And once you reach that number, the friend with an object that lights up flashes it in your eyes, and you're so dizzy and disoriented you fall. It's a pretty darn fun thing to do, and when you're lying on the ground, all you can see is the stars way up above you, or your friends panicking and making sure you're okay. And all the stars just feel so much closer than they are. You feel like you're flying slowly up towards them. Imagine that's what infinity feels like. So, just to finish this video, I just want to share something that I learned recently with you guys, because that would have been a really bizarre way to end a video. I took a class at an academic summer camp on philosophy and literature and film this year, and the TA was a psychology major, and during one of the evening sessions we talked about prosocial behaviors and altruism and all that jazz. I'm not defining the terms here, alright guys? I just want to share an experiment we talked about. Actually, you might need a definition. Prosocial behavior is any act performed with the goal of benefiting another person. And altruism is the desire to help another person, even if it involves some personal cost to the helper. And two basic questions that we as a class discussed were whether helping is an inborn tendency or one that must be taught, and whether people ever help without receiving some sort of benefit in return. Well, in trying to answer another question, that question being why some people help more than others, we talked about the effect of mood on prosocial behavior. In an experiment by Eisen and Llove in 1972, results showed that people who were in good moods are more likely to help others. The scientists did a study in a shopping mall where subjects either found or didn't find a dime in a phone booth. As a subject would leave the booth, a constant would walk by and drop a sheaf of papers. Of those who didn't find a dime, only 4% stopped and helped the man pick them up, compared to a whopping 84% from the people who found the dime who did help. In a totally different study, though, by Harris in 1975, I think, 1975, it was shown that churchgoers are more likely to donate their money before rather than after a confession, while still feeling guilty as opposed to after feeling their guilt pardoned. Cialdini, I think that's how you pronounce his name, his negative state relief hypothesis says that people will help in order to alleviate their own sadness and distress as long as the help doesn't relate to the cause of their bad mood. So when someone's feeling bad, they'll often do good. So it's kind of like just summarizing all this, it's feel good, do good, and feel bad, do good. I wonder what OK does. I might have more to say on that later, since I'm doing a topic similar to that for a year-long project for school, but for now I'm off. See you guys. But not really, I can't see you. That'd be creepy. Bye.